make it 7/8, so there's no fun.
Oh.
But then all of our chords are the same derivation.
Right. Well, why would we not want that though? Like, you mean same duration as in you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 8, 4, right?
In 7/8.
Oh, 7, 8, I see what you mean. Okay, I thought, I was thinking about something else. All right. Yeah, we're not doing that. Let's talk about though rhythmically, what could we do here? If we have, say, 4/4 time. Sorry.
If we want to get kind of boring with it, the first 4 chords can all be quarter notes.
Okay.
Same with the first 2 in the second measure.
So we got, well, measure here, and then
Quarter, quarter, half.
quarter, and half. And we have our final chord on beat 3. Remember, our final chord has to be on either 3 or 1 in 4/4 time, our strong beat, 1 or 3. Okay, so that would work. What else could possibly work here? Andrew?
You cut it 4 measures, you have it in half notes for the final chords, whole note.
Oh, so half, whole. That could work. Doesn't really change rhythmically what we're doing, just stretches it out, makes it longer, doubles everything up. But that does work, that could work. What else?
Do quarter, quarter, half, whole.
Yeah, so if we did quarter, half, then have your bar line there. Then we did quarter, half, have the bar line there, and then the whole.
Do we have, when we do this assignment, do we have to write it in 4/4?
Well, no, it doesn't say. So, I mean, I would want the quarter note. It's either gonna be a quarter note beat note, or you could do a half note beat note if you want to make it tricky. You could have like cut time 2/2, or you could have like 3/2 would work as well, or 3/4. Could this work in 3/4?
They do quarter, 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 quarter.
Dot and half, right? Yeah, so very similar to this. Just kept going. Okay. So then it comes down to, like, what's the difference? Who cares? In the long run, it really doesn't make a difference. But for this assignment, if you really want to put some thought into it, you know, then you would plunk out maybe if you can on the piano, or at least the like a note, like come up with a melody kind of thing, and then phrase it. If it's a phrase in 3, you would get this type of sound. Sorry. So you get the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. If it was the 4/4 where we had half notes on the end and then a whole note there, you would get this sort of sound. If it was in 4/4 and you got all quarter notes, it would sound like this. notes and a whole note, and it's still.
We could give it a pickup and then.
Usually
and then
pickup,
beat first.
usually the pickup is gonna be a 5-chord, in this sort of style music, at least of what we're doing. I'm not against the pickup, but it would probably be a 5-chord going to 1, as opposed to like 1 going anywhere, so, yeah. The
That's
pick-
full context, so let me finish.
Yeah, so again, it's not really gonna affect your voice leading at all. Could affect your melody and choices of notes in the melody, determining the time signature. It definitely affects the feel, so the overall like kind of aesthetic of the song or this assignment, you know, like voice leading is voice leading is voice leading, like you gotta still do that part right. But, so it really doesn't matter, as long as the final 1 chord is on a strong beat, either at the beginning of the measure, on beat 1, or if it's in 4/4 time, it could also be on beat 3. So, that part, I'll leave up to you guys, there's your creative moments here. Okay, we get a few of them in this class. They're few and far between. Live it up. So our 1 chord in the key of D minor, the root is what? D. Our 4 chord in D minor, our root is what? G. Our 5 chord? A. Our 6 chord? Flat. 4 chord? 5. Back 1. Alright, so there's your baseline. Maybe again, if you don't have all the chords down, but you can figure out a baseline.
Are we still not allowed to have musical reason in this class?
Depends on what you're doing. If you're a musical reason.
I'm gonna write one that's following all the rules and then write one that's not. So I have a fallback.
Alright. You could use this baseline to determine your time signature as well, if you want. That would be filling in groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Or if it was in groups of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That could give you a little reference as well. Or it doesn't have to necessarily be this baseline either. You could have it go down, the G could go down an octave, and you could stay in the lower range with your bass. Might be better in the long run too if you did that, because you stay away from your tenor. Tenor and bass get too close together, we have issues that way, so. And then spelling out the rest of the chords and voicing them appropriately. Just like we've been doing on the last week and a half or so. Questions about this assignment? Carter?
When writing it out, if we're using a common tone, can we tie them?
Yeah. Good question. Other questions? Anything else?
Are there any Roman numerals that we can't use?
Was that,
Are there any Roman numerals that we can't use?
you only use the ones that they give you?
Okay.
Yeah. At this point. We haven't gotten any farther than that.
But we can put them in any order, right?
No, you have to use that order.
Oh, specifically that order. Okay.
Yep, that's your chord progression. Alright? Okay, so yeah, we'll, do what you can before Wednesday on it. And if you wanna, we could go through some examples in class. But we'll say it's due one day, we'll give you a little extra time on that one. I still might assign something else on Wednesday for homework, I'm not sure. Let's take a look at, alright, what I feel like we've covered a lot of material, so to go into the three-part texture, I think it'll be easier on your heads and just maybe more weight. On Wednesday, we'll start in on the three-part texture on Wednesday. For right now though, let's just kind of switch gears altogether, do something completely different than what we've been doing. Is also in chapter 6 is a section here on instrumental ranges and transpositions. Okay? We talk about this very briefly in this class. I don't go into too much in-depth discussion about this, because if you go to a four-year school, you would take, it's possible to take a class on this concept, like for the whole semester. You know, scoring, for say an orchestra, or a band, or a wind band, or a jazz band, or whatever type of, pieces you work with. But this gives you at least a kind of a brief survey of it all, and, a foundation, a start to it. So, yes, the thing that most people, that don't play a transposing instrument, most people don't understand how that works. If you play a transposing instrument, like myself, I play saxophone, I play alto is in the key of E flat, so it's pitched to the key of E flat. Tenor is in the key of B flat. Nothing's in the key of C, so it makes, like, trombones are like, what are you talking about? Guitarists have no idea. And if I get a piece of music from a piano player that transposed it for me, I'm very dubious until I read it, like, because a lot of piano players don't understand the concept either, which rightfully so. You know, if you don't play that instrument or you don't write for that instrument very often, it can be really confusing, and I understand. So we're gonna talk about how to at least kind of figure it out. Give you some resources to have. So the first resource is in the back of this book, the Appendix A. This is a great resource. You can also go online. I think I do have posted in D2L in Unit 1, instrumental transposition chart as well that I found online. This has a lot more instruments than our book. It doesn't look like it has, well, it has a lot more wind instruments than our book. Our book has string instruments though as well. All right, so if you're scoring for flute, it gives you abbreviation what you would see in the score, and then also the sounding range. So it starts on middle C, and it goes an octave above the C that's written there. That's the range of the flute. Now, written range is sometimes different depending on the instrument. So what you see is not always what you get. For example, look at the bass down here at the bottom, double bass. The sounding range, it goes an octave below that low E, right? But the written range is here. So even though it would read this E, it would actually sound an octave lower. So if you, like on the piano, if you write for the bass and you're like, I'm playing this, the low E, below the staff, here, the bass is actually gonna sound down there by reading that same note. So if you want them to play that E here, you actually have to write it an octave higher and write it in the staff there. Does that make sense? So what they see is actually written an octave higher than what they sound. And the reason for that is who wants to read all those leisure lines below the step? So everything is shifted up an octave, and they read in this range, but they actually, what you hear is everything down an octave. So that's the difference between written range and sounding range. Does that make sense? Questions on that? Yeah.
In the left column there, you've got, what, 11 or so steps, basically, whatever it is, but it's a broader range in the right column. How does
Because
that work?
it actually starts an octave below, so you have an octave below, and an E below this, so you have a whole octave here, and then a second octave and a third, you can have G.
But the length of the diagonal line is the same, basically? But it doesn't look like it would be, but I'd have to do that.
Well, I think they shortened the diagonal line, because E to E is an octave, second E is a second octave, and then a G.
So it's 2 octaves plus a third.
Yep.
And is that the same thing you get if we take that one down?
If you take it down, you still,
Okay,
yep.
all right.
Yep.
It didn't look like it.
Right. Right.
Thank you.
Visually, sometimes these things look different than what they are. Other questions about that concept, the sounding range, written range? Alright, so that's what's kind of neat about this chart. If you can't remember the ranges of the instruments that you're writing for, this can help you out. It's also good to know, like, if you're writing for, say, flute, and you have everything way down here, they're not gonna be really happy with you. Because playing in the low register of your instrument is not as, like, professionals should be able to do it, and they should be able to make it sound great. But if you're writing for amateurs or students, that could be a difficult thing to do. If you write in extreme high ranges for these instruments, that could also be more difficult for the player. So just something else to keep in mind. Oboe has a similar range as a flute, just not as high. Looks like it would be higher, but this goes an octave higher than that, so not as high. And again, the written range is the same. All right, then we get to clarinets, and clarinets are transposing instruments. So let's talk a little bit about transposing instruments. Forgot how that works. There's a way to get, click a button and get right back to where it was. Oh, previous.
Is it the one, there's a little button on the other one? The one next to that. The two.
I don't know what you're talking about, Brad. Sorry.
I tried. Fine.
That's all right. I'll find it. There it is. Okay. So written range, sounding range. Reason that we have transposing instruments, and it is kind of complicated, has to do with just the physical makeup of the instrument itself, the way it's built. Some instruments, like the saxophone, they actually, I forget who it was, it might have been Adolph Sax. Adolph Sax invented the saxophone, right? That's what it's called, saxophone. But there was a C melody saxophone invented around the turn of the century, I think. At least it got really popular, a little bit more popular around the early 1900s. It's a saxophone that's slightly bigger than an alto saxophone, slightly smaller than a tenor saxophone, a little bit thinner, and when you play it, it's sort of a tone between the two, but it's not really big and full like the tenor. It's not as cutting and high as the alto, but it was nice that a saxophonist could just look at piano music and just play right off the page, which is really nice when you have to transpose. Problem with it is just the tone didn't work, and it never really caught on. So these instruments, I think, the instrument makers go through like different keys. They could, like trumpets can be tuned to C, it can be tuned to F, it can be tuned to all the different keys, but the key that they're tuned to is probably the most resonant, and so that's why they're kept that way. If you think about a trumpet, like a bugle that has no valves, it's just a tube that's curled up. What they do, you have these series of notes that they can jump to. You play like a trombone, same way, right? So you play on one. It's just one. It's not just one note. You can get other notes that come out of the trumpet, right, or out of a bugle, and that's so. You hear that in reveille or taps. It's all done on a bugle, but you don't get stepwise motion on that. You get leaps, right? This is what we call the harmonic series. So these instruments all kind of goes back to Pythagoras even, used not just for math. So if you have a string instrument like a guitar or a bass, and you pluck that string, you get whatever note comes out, right? So say that's the note A, and say that vibrates at 440. Then we snip that string right in half, exactly in half, and we pluck the string again. It should, in theory, vibrate twice as fast, because it's twice as short, right? Or half as short. So that would mean then it would vibrate at 880, which is also A. It's just an octave higher. So the math in here, when you cut it in half, you get the octave. Now if I start cutting it into 2/3, 3/4 length, I get some of the other intervals out of that. So there's a whole series of intervals that come from when you start splicing and do it. And with like a bugle or trombone, wind instrument, you do that by changing your air focus and blowing either faster air or slower air. You get this harmonic series that starts this one. Say if it's a B flat instrument, it starts on a B flat. That's your fundamental. Then the next note you get is up, you'd say a harmonic or an overtone is an octave. So that's your octave there. First overtone. Next overtone is going to be a fifth. And then above that is your next octave. Above that then is a third. Then the fifth. Then it's a flat seven, interesting enough. And then back to your octave again. Alright, so notice how many octaves we have. We have fifths in there. The third doesn't come in until you get all the way up to here. Right? From here, it's pretty much a major scale with maybe a sharp 4 flat fifth in there. You can get that. You can play some of like these lower notes. And then hold the pedal down after you release it. Hear those higher resonant. That's partly those strings vibrating, but it's also the initial strings vibrating, and you're getting this resonation of the overtones. So you hear these overtones often, but you don't even realize that you're hearing them a lot of times. And the overtones shape the sound of the instrument. It's partly what differentiates between, you know, like, not only like what's being struck, like in this case, the strings are being struck inside the piano, as opposed to a trombone or a saxophone where wind is going through and producing the sound. That also shapes the sound, but also these how you play, like the difference between my saxophone playing and another saxophonist is being able to understand and manipulate those overtones. That's what develops my sound. Same way like on the trombone, the difference between the trombone. Piano, you don't really have much of a choice. Guitar, I'm sure touch does have a lot to do with like your tone. So how you manipulate the tone, like by either pushing harder or softer, and then you can get a little bit more, would you say you get a little bit more harmonics out of it, overtones? Like, have you ever listened for overtones or anything like that? Is that?
I would say that's more probably with your right hand.
Okay.
And like the pressure you're putting on the string when you're playing.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah.
And then you have those, what do they call like false harmonics, that you, if you push the string down and then lightly touch it, and
Yeah, you can get an octave to come out.
yeah, it's the same, all the same concept. All right, so all of this, again, kind of going back to why we have instruments tuned to different pitches. All right, and then if you think of a trombone, you have this tube, the slide, right? When the slide is all the way in, that's first position. So you get all these harmonics off, just like a bugle, off of that. Then you move the slide, you extend the slide to like out. So that increases the length of the tube. So now you got all the harmonics off of E. And then you increase it, you get all the harmonics off of C, and so on. So then eventually you get all the notes of the scale. You have different ways of playing, just like on a guitar, you have all these different ways of playing the same pitches, same way on the trombone, and you just find the easiest ways to do it. Lucky for us woodwind players, you don't have to deal with that very much. All right. So what it comes down to, real quick before I let you go, and we'll talk more about this on Wednesday, is how do you figure out this transposition? All right, so we have a clarinet in B flat. What's written in concert, what the piano player would play is F, C, and A. What the clarinet's gonna actually see on the page and play on their instrument is G, E, and P. But it's gonna come out. The end of the sounds that you hear is actually gonna hear F, C, and A that would match the piano. So they're playing everything a step above concert pitch, but it's actually sounding concert pitch when they play.
Alright, so when we are writing for a score,
Yeah.
example, we want this sound to be in C major.
Mm-hmm.
We would write it for, what key would we write it in? Like,
For the clarinet?
For, yeah, for the.
You'd write it in D major, because it's a step above.
So you would, for clarinet, you would write it a step above what you actually want it to be played.
Yep. Alto is an E flat. So if it's a C major on the piano, you're just gonna write in A major for the alto song. And the way to remember that, again, we'll talk more about this on Wednesday. The way to remember that is, if I'm, whatever the name of my instrument is, clarinet B flat, if a B flat instrument plays a C, it's gonna sound a B flat on the piano. Okay? If I'm a E flat instrument, E flat saxophone, if I play a C on the saxophone, it's E flat on the piano. French horn is an F. If the French horn plays a C, it's and sound like an F on the piano.
It's so confusing.
I know.
but it also makes it
The
sound
good thing
like-
about, technology is that, like, music writing software does it all for you, you don't have to think about it that hard. But, that's why, I mean, we're gonna talk about it, you don't have to commit any of these instruments to memory, there won't be a test on this. But, it's, you know, let's talk it through, at least again, so you have kind of an understanding of it. We'll be looking at scores from like here on out through this semester, and so like a viola is an alto clef, so we're gonna have to transpose for violas. We might see French horns, and it's gonna be written in the key of the French horn and not transposed for us, so we're gonna look at something, so it'll look like it's an F, but it's actually in the key of C for us, and we're gonna have to look at those notes and determine what those notes actually are.
I mean, at least instruments that are just playing in different clefs, at least the key is.
True, the key is still in the, yeah. All right, any questions? Again, we'll discuss this some more on Wednesday, confuse your brains a little bit.
Homework was page 53, you said?
Homework is page 53. Yeah, 53, just the top part, don't have to score anything out yet. Yeah.
You wouldn't still have to have the tutor's hours, would you?
Tutors hours,
Tuesday, 10 to 3? Wednesday, 9 to 12, and Friday, 12 to 3.
and also my office hours I did have to change my office hours. Mondays, unfortunately, my office hours are right after this class, so I won't be available at noon. If you have oral skills, like right after this. But Wednesdays, I made sure that I had 12 to 1 open, so after oral skills, if you wanna come talk to me, see me then, Wednesdays would be fine. Also Thursdays, I'm available 9 in the morning, 9 to 11, or you just wanna reserve a time with me, sometime on Thursday or Friday, I should be available as well, so that's totally fine. Just wanna drop in after a Wednesday class, totally fine. Again, helps me out if you give me a heads up, but I should be around or close by. I have some papers to give back, and I will collect whatever work you might have.
I will not be there. There's one up there.
Any clarity on
A lot of people.
any clarity on?
Yeah, it's coming back. I you did, you know,
We're
just,
gonna
okay.
cut into your notation
All
time.
right, yes, sir, yes, sir,
Here we
yes,
go,
sir.
one more time.
Mm.
I see some people didn't practice this weekend, huh? 1, 2, 1. Okay. Volunteers? Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can I go second? Sure. Give me a number 1 through 8, please. 1,
8,
5, 2,
3,
I'll go second.
7.
Okay, the number 6.
Nobody said
Nobody did
six.
6? Okay, let's go 5.
that was me.
Okay, good. You ready? You ready here or not here? It's up to you which one you want. Okay, go ahead. 1. Go. 2, ready, and 1.
Man, that's hard.
That was it. Don't second guess yourself, you were there. Let's try it again. Ready, and 1.
Do, do, so, mi, fa, so, do, do, so, mi, fa, so, do, 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 mi, do, re, re.
Start with T. C, B sharp. Ready, and.
Ti, do,
No.
man.
Your second line.
Yep.
Okay. Ready. 2, ready, and.
Do, man.
How does it go? Goes up a scale, right?
Yep.
1. Sorry, let's get on the beat here. 1, 2, ready, and.
Do, re, 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 mi, fa, mi, re, do, do, do.
Maybe I can do it without the metronome.
Sure. Try the second line again. This goes up the scale. 2, ready, and.
Ti, do, re, 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 mi, fa, mi, re, do, 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 so, so, so. Can I get the do pitch?
That's because that's gonna be an octave higher, right?
Do, so, so, fa, so, mi, re, do.
Okay. What was I? 5, 7?
Wait.
I'm sorry, you're next. Excuse me, thank you, sorry about that. You want to hear?
Do,
yeah.
Okay. You want, here we go. 1, 2,
Let me try without the metronome.
okay, sure. 1, 2, ready, and.
do, do, so, mi, fa, so, do, do, so, mi, fa, so, do, 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 ti, do, re, 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 mi, fa, mi, re, do,
D sharp. Right? Good. Okay, number 7. Anybody select stuff? Okay, ready?
No, I'm not ready, but
Okay. 5, 4. Okay. One here.
Yeah, it's kind of too high to do that, right? So-
What's that?
Yeah.
Good. Metronome?
I'll try it with it.
Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 1.
Do, do, sol, mi, fa, sol, do, do, sol, mi, fa, sol, do, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, sol, fa, sol, mi, re, do.
Very good. Okay, 8.
Right here.
Very good. I'll assume you want it here.
Yeah, I put it there.
Okay, metronome.
Yeah, give us a minute, you know.
Here we go. 1.
Do, do, sol, mi, fa, sol, do, do, sol, mi, fa, sol, do, do, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, sol, fa, sol, mi, re, do.
Good. Just take a deep breath and slow down a little bit. You know, you did good. You got the second line and you rushed the guided quarter. Right? Da, 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 da. Everything else, we right on pitch. Just had to watch the time a little bit. Great. Let's see. What was your number? You were 8?
Yeah.
Where am I? 4? 3?
I said
3?
3.
Okay. You want here? Metronome?
No, not sure.
Okay, there you go. You go 1, 2, 1.
Do, do, so, man, fa, so, do, do, so, man, fa, so, do, si. Do, re, man, fa, re, do, so, fa, so, re, do.
Good, just going just a little bit flat when you get to, here's your G. No, you're about a quarter step, a little bit flatter than it, just so.
Yeah, around like the 3rd line somewhere, I somehow, yeah, I get like a half step too low all of a sudden.
Yeah, you were, well, not quite a half step, it was about more like a quarter of a step, okay? Can you do that part there for me? That's the second line, last measure with the C sharp.
Okay.
Do, 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 so, just that part.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, starting from there.
Yeah,
Second line.
starting with the second C there. Do, 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 and then the 3rd line.
Do, 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 so, fa, so, re, do.
Get up,
Yeah, I
that.
haven't been able to get that, but something happened, it's like.
Yeah, just practice that, those intervals a little bit more. That's that going between the G down to the E as a 3rd, right? It's a major 3rd. You just, there again, we just about a quarter of a step flat, which is good. Very good. Where am I now? 2? Okay, you know here? Want the metronome or?
Sure.
1.
Do, do, sol, mi, fa, sol, do, do, sol, mi, fa, sol, do, ti, do, re, 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 mi, fa, mi, re, do, sol, sol, fa, sol, mi, re, do.
Okay, and you went up, you were just went a little higher, about a quarter step higher than the part there. Can you do that last line? Everything was good up to that point, right there, side the sol, sol, sol,
Sol, do, do, sol, sol, do, do, sol, sol, fa, sol, mi, re, do.
yeah, so take just a little bit more sharp side, good. And also, when you're singing, going up, instead of thinking of, I talked with you guys about that before. When you're singing that part, instead of singing up to the thing, thinking that you're above the note, you're gonna sing down to it. Do, 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 instead of do, 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 because this stretches this, right, and it cuts it down on the intonation. So do, do, do. All right, that'll help that with a little bit. Very good. One. Okay. Metronome. 1, 2, ready, and 1. You okay?
Yeah. I was right. Okay. Last measure before 3.
Hey, we church.
Okay.
Of the spirit got me.
The whole thing was a measure before.
Do the last measure.
Last measure before
Yeah.
3.
Right there on the G sharp. Third, but last, I'm sorry, not the
So
last
start it.
measure, the last line, third line.
Okay, start it.
Right.
Okay.
Ready, and. Yeah, watch the F sharp. Yeah,
F
whole
sharp.
step there.
F sharp.
Yeah, whole step. Very good. Okay. All right, now for the fun one. Close your books up if you would, please, your phones, whatever else you got. This one's going to be, what did I say? This was at 58 also, so we got metronome's good. Okay, you're gonna have 4 measures. You're in, A minor. You're gonna have quarter notes, half notes, eighth notes, okay? So dot, dash, dash. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So the dot's gonna be the eighth notes, dash is gonna be the quarter, long dash is gonna be the half note. So you might wanna write that ledger out, please. Dot, the eighth note, dash is the quarter note, long dash is the half note. Go ahead.
One more time?
Yeah, dot is the eighth note,
Okay.
dash is the quarter note, and the long dash is gonna be the half note. What's that?
What's that time?
We're in 4/4 times, and A minor.
So a dotted quarter note would be dash dot.
Yep. We don't have any of those.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I ran across them while I was.
Right. Yeah, that would be in one of the exercises. Look, I didn't do that this time. I did it this time. All right, let me see, it changes to. What's that?
What clef is it in?
It's in, treble clef. Slow this down. Yep. One, two, then we'll do two measures, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So we just want to write the rhythm down, right?
Write the rhythm down.
Okay,
I'm gonna do each one of them 4 times.
okay.
So you write down the rhythm and then you should start working on your notes. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have too many people on it, so.
Oh, I was trying to confuse you, man.
Third time. 2, 3, 4. Now we're ready for the 4th time. 1, 3, 4. Now I'm ready for the 3rd and 4th measure. Here's your tonic. Here's the notes you're gonna be starting out on.
Wait, so what's the,
We're in
Is that our-
we're
that's our-
we're in A minor,
right?
which is the A.
Okay, I was just checking.
This should just be like if you were an octave above. So you maybe figure out what that note is. Ready? 1, 2, Okay, let's go from the beginning. I'll do 2 times through the whole thing for you. We're starting out on an A, second space A. I'll play both files for you, ready? 2, 3, 4. I tell you, I'll do it 3 times for you, or 4 times for you. Here's the second time. Starting with second space A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's our third time. Once again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, any questions on that one? Be sure that your name is on it. Today's date, today is the 8th, right? You all done? Very good. There. No, just right, we're just doing the notation. Yeah.
Listen, I ain't playing.
No points on the table.
Catch anyone? Everybody remember what you did?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, my man, you're all set, or? Okay, so you're doing, take a look real quick. It was, and we practiced this the other day. 5.29, right? 5.29, that has the, actually natural, and then it does the it goes out with the melodic minor, right? Let's take a look at that. And the notes are written up on it already. Do, ti, ready? 2, ready, and. Do, ti, re, so, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Good. Any questions on that one?
For that last note, I put a whole note on my notation.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Oh.
It was kind of hard. I tried to hold it and cut it off on the third beat, but that's good. That's something you gotta worry about, no problem. Okay? So, the next assignment, we're supposed to go up through